What is up, creators? Patrick here. I assume you're here from either one or both of the other videos in this series, and together these 3 videos encompass basically everything I wish I could send back in time to a younger version of myself who was learning video 4 or 5 years ago. In fact, I was thinking of calling this series Skip Your First Few Years Bumbling Around Learning Video, but it didn't quite roll off the tongue. For this video, I'm going to assume that you've seen enough YouTube and television to know the difference between videos that are energetic and entertaining, that have a little bit of suspense, and videos that are none of those things. So we're going to talk about 3 things to consider for making videos that are more entertaining. Let's get to it. Now, you don't have to overdo it, though that works for a lot of people. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some tips that have made the most difference in my work and that people I've worked with still thank me for teaching them years later. I like to call this first tip the enthusiasm rule, and Derek from Veritasium said it best. You know how the camera adds 15 pounds? Well, it subtracts 20% enthusiasm. It just zaps your energy. And anybody who's ever tried to record themselves on camera knows exactly what I'm talking about. Some creators add even more than 20%. And I've heard more than a few YouTubers say they absolutely do not talk to their spouses the way they talk to the camera. So add that enthusiasm, that enunciation, and that energy. I like to because it adds to entertainment value, engagement, and the illusion that my content is good. Boy, that awkward silence is a great segue to tip number 2. Silences kill momentum. They're very apparent and they destroy the world that you're building inside this frame, just like the ums and ahs destroy the rhythm of a speech. With few exceptions, most good video content has very little silence. Watch for this on TV or your favorite YouTube content. There's a reason that music or sound effects are used during things like scene transitions. Your first assignment in Jim or Jam Video School is to look at the audio from one of your favorite shows or creators and watch how they use silence. When it's used well, it's used sparingly and to great effect. Silences affect pacing and rhythm, which are very important, but not as important as our next tip. You may notice that many videos seem like they're aimless or incoherent, like they're lost in the woods. Well, it turns out that having an idea for a video and then some information on that topic is not enough to make it entertaining. As boring or calculated or rigid as it sounds, a good video is usually good because of its structure. This is a lesson that many of us learn the hard way and far too late. And there are many reasons that people think this structure isn't important, but at the end of the day, if you're just slapping clips together without any purposeful order, then it stops being worthwhile and compelling to watch. We humans are wired to enjoy stories just like we're wired to be bored without one. So if you only take one lesson away from this series, let this be it. It is the most important thing. So what might it look like? As an example, this video has a structure, the standard 3 parts. The middle section, these tips, has its own structure, and this 3rd tip, its own structure still. In the beginning, I started with misconceptions. In the middle, I told you why it was important, and now I'm telling you how you might do it yourself. It can be simple, but it has to be there. The standard beginning, middle, end is a good place to start, or if it's an interview, the standard list of informative questions. And if you can, try to have your beginning have a hook and give people a little tease of what they might see in the video. Oh, and one last thing. If you're making a video for someone and they tell you that they don't need a story or structure, they're wrong. Do it anyway. It shouldn't be phony or embellished, it just has to have structure that people can follow. And that's it for these tips. Hey, the middle is over. It's time for the end. That's it for this one. Again, my attempt is to compress years worth of knowledge into minutes. I hope you can use these tips to share your opinions or stories or message or passions, and I hope I saved you some time. Let me know if you found this useful, and tell me in the comments if you want to see more content like this on the channel. And as always, thanks for liking and subscribing and for watching. Bye-bye.